Video essays are the downfall of cinema, and I intend to prove it. That's right, I think that video essays are actually worse than the invention of digital, than the invention of 3D, than the invention of color, than the invention of sound and the talkie. I think that video essays are worse than all of that, and I'm going to tell you why as I go out into the field. I'm not going to talk to anyone, in the field, but I'm going to go out to the field and I'm going to list off my reasons why I think video essays are the worst thing ever in a very coherent and structured argument that I thought a lot about. Probably bring you along with me, huh? Okay, here's the meme. Video essays are the film major equivalent of an undergrad student going to Europe for a semester and then talking about how awesome and impactful it was, except for, in this example, the student doesn't even go to Europe. They just watch videos about how inspiring and different their perspective is now that they've gone. That's what the video essay is. To film majors specifically. This is what this video is targeted at mostly, because I know a lot of people that watch videos about video essays and video essays themselves are film majors. Okay, pal? I caught you. I caught you dead in your tracks, because I'm in that circle, so I know. Yeah. The first thing that makes me so frustrated about video essays isn't that a lot of film majors watch them or whatever. I'm not one of those pretentious people that's like, oh, because a lot of people do it, it's not good. But my main thing actually stems from the creator side of it, which is that I think video essays are a lazy format. And before you say it, I know what you're going to say. Listen, believe me, I'm with you. Channel Chriswell is really good. Austin McConnell makes great videos. And Nerdwriter's editing is fantastic. Those are all three standout channels, right? And there's, I'm sure, a slew more of them that I didn't mention because I am subscribed to like 50 video essay channels. So believe me, I know that there's people that break the mold. But the thing is, 99% of video essays, and this is a very statistical metric that I have a lot of data that I pulled on, 99% of them aren't that. Yes, as much as it hurts all of us to admit it, most video essays aren't artfully edited or really skillfully written, but that's beside the point. That's me being pedantic. The thing is, most of them are just some boys in their 20s who said, yeah, I'll pirate After Effects CS6. And I'll get one of these babies. I'll get one of these, and then I'll read one book about new critical theory, and bam, I'm making bank, baby. Or they just made it for school. That's another thing. Is a lot of these are just projects that people have made for class, which is fine. I've done it before too, but we can't act like that's what we should be striving for when it comes to videographic essay content. But believe it or not, that's actually not the point I'm trying to make with this video. I don't really care about the quality of these video essays. It really doesn't affect me all that much. My biggest thing is how it affects other filmmakers. And As a film major, I can say I'm surrounded by a lot of other film majors, if you'll give me that. I normally don't pull that card, but in my film-based classes, there is a lot of other film majors in them. And I can say this is the problem with video essays, is that other film majors, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of it, but I'm not guilty of it. But a thing that happens with a lot of film majors is they will watch a lot of these video essays, right? And then they will come into class and parrot the exact views and opinions of these people that made the video essay. They will quote it verbatim. But the problem is, see, that's not even the problem with it. I'm not mad at people with perfect recall, right? My problem is that they act as though it is their own opinion, and that no one else will catch on to the fact that they are doing this. Yes, believe it or not, this is a real thing. It is totally a thing that I've seen so many times that I would not be able to count. As a film major comes in, we all watch the same Channel Criswell video, we all watch the same Nerdwriter video, and they come in the next day after the video is released and then bloviate about this film or this book or this physiological concept as if they themselves came up with the idea, not crediting it at all. And everyone knows what they're doing because we all watch the same video essays because we're film majors, and that's what film majors do is they watch video essays. They don't make films because making films is hard. Instead, we watch video essays and then come into class the next day and go, "Hey-o, I think that somehow Blade Runner 2049 cinematography means it takes place in the same cinematic universe as Tarantino because there's apples in that movie and basically red apple cigarettes." And then everyone goes, I distinctly remember watching a video essay about that yesterday, but I'm not going to say anything because then I'll draw attention to the fact that I also watch video essays, which in and of itself is not a bad thing, but you know, you don't want to draw attention to the fact that we're all getting our opinions from the exact same source. And again, there's bells going off. But I'm in the middle of ranting. So the thing that differentiates this from, say, finding a review, right? Because you're probably thinking, well, Merrick, how is this any different from getting an opinion from a review and then saying, well, I'm going to go see that movie now? The problem is with a review, you look at it to determine whether or not you want to see the movie, or at least I do. Most of the time, I say, okay, well, and even with music, I'll watch a Fantano video now and then, and I go, he had some insightful comments on it. Maybe I don't agree with all of them, right? Because free thought's important, but he had some insightful opinions. Maybe I'll give this album a check it out, you know? Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace when I was listening to the first time. Or maybe I'll check out this review because Roger Ebert said it was good, or his website did anyway. But the difference is that video essays aren't meant to make you go watch the thing that they're talking about. They are a surrogate for that thing. So when you watch a video essay, you get the satisfaction that comes from watching the movie. And you get the satisfaction that comes from having an opinion about it. And you get the satisfaction of being able to tell that opinion to everyone that you know. And it's a precursor that you're going to love it most of the time with most of these video essays. It's like 80% of them are like, you know, the In Praise of Chairs, Every Frame a Painting video, which is great. But, you know, most of them are just praising a thing or a movie that everyone universally, you know, they universally kind of like it a lot, and they talk about it constantly. So they're not, you know, controversial opinions. They're just like, man, red makes you angry, and you go, yep. But instead of, you know, forming their own concepts about these movies, you can, and I do this as well. You know, I'm not saying I'm not guilty here. I am. I will watch a video essay and then not watch the movie and think, yeah, I basically am Stanley Kubrick now, because I watched a video essay dissecting the shot composition of a Stanley Kubrick video. And that is really the biggest problem. Right quick, I'd like to clarify, I actually do like video essays quite a bit. So I don't want this video to be just me, you know, pooping all over video essays, because I do think they're very valuable. I think they have a valuable place in learning about things that you might not consider otherwise, and they do a great job a lot of times, the successful ones anyway, they do a great job of compressing a philosophical or new critical concept into like a 7-minute video and making that digestible and filtering it through a piece of media, which is really important. I mean, I think that's a great thing for a lot of people. It's just the problem is once it gets so saturated and lazy, and people like to, you know, they use it instead of forming opinions on their own. It should be a teaching tool, not the only thing that you use, right? It shouldn't be it should be a cookbook, not the thing you're consuming, right? You would never eat a cookbook, but that's what a lot of people do, is they read the cookbook, and then instead of making their own food, they just eat the cookbook. And that's where I think the problem comes in. is eating books. We gotta stop eating books, okay? I'm ranting in a parking lot. And listen, everybody. Hey, everyone. Listen, we gotta stop eating books here. People are getting, they're getting book poisoning, everyone. They're getting book poisoning, you guys. Don't you care? Oh, they don't care at all. Hey, do you care about people getting book poisoning? She doesn't care. It's fine. I just look like a lunatic. I'm ranting right now. I'm sorry. A little diatribe, but I'm just ranting right now. I'm very cold because I wanted to look cool and fashion is pain. Stop eating books. Here's the thing. This is coming from someone who actually really likes video essays. I think they're fine in and of themselves. But they can be a problem for other film majors, myself included. We have to be wary of this. And I think people in general can take a point of note here when I say that watching something about something is not a surrogate for that something. Watching footage of a natural disaster or an earthquake is not the same as having been part of that earthquake. And in the same way, the most important thing you can do when you're going to film school or whatever vocation you're doing, the most important thing you can do when you're there is make a film or whatever the equivalent is for you. So I guess what I'm saying is the problem with video essays, and I've touched on this a little bit already, but the biggest issue is that it's not making a film. It's not watching a film. It's not reading a review of a film. But it acts as a surrogate for all of that, including forming your own opinion, which is really the most important thing that I'm trying to get at, is you need to form your own opinion about this stuff. And I know people don't a lot of the time, or they do some of the time, but we got to work on this because I can tell you firsthand, as a film major, it's kind of a big problem. And there's good things about video essays too. I touched on this earlier. I didn't go into specifics, but they take content that could otherwise be pretty boring or pretty dense, and they make it visually appealing sometimes if they're good at what they do. But really, the biggest thing is like how do you want to be remembered? And I don't just mean you specifically. I mean us as a generation of filmmakers. Or, just in general. But how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the video essay generation? Is that what you want? You want to be the video essay generation? Because before, they had cool stuff. They had the blockbuster generation. And they had the golden age people and other stuff. They had other generations and movements. And right now, I just feel like video essays are not the thing we need more of. They're just so saturated and so old at this point, and it doesn't work the same way that watching a movie does, which is, I think, a bad thing. I don't know. You want to be the binge watch generation? You want to be the streamer generation or something? The streaker generation? You guys want to streak later? Go down to a creek and streak? Anyway. I think we just need to think about that. And don't use some prescripted thing, Make your own opinion. Have fun with it. That's all I have to say.